All right. All right. So we are back on the show. Jatin, can you see me? Jatin? Jatin, you there? I think Jatin will join in. Nevertheless, let me introduce the show. So we all know COVID has been very tough, right? And it has been tough for many people around. Hi, Jatin.
Hi, Amit. Bang
Hi.
at 4, my Wi-Fi got dropped and I had to connect using my
Ah,
mobile data. Thanks to this big company claims to be number one company in India.
digital world. All right, so I was
Absolutely.
just going to start off. Uh, all right, so folks, like I was saying, COVID has been challenging, for many people, and it's been so. Today we are going to talk to Jatin, or I'm going to call him by his name, Inspiring Jatin. That's how the most of the people in the world knows him actually. So I'm also going to make sure that I say that, and it inspires me in a way as well, right? So COVID. So what I'm trying to say is today's guest, Inspiring Jatin, shares basically his personal story of separation with his spouse and kid during the lockdown time. So before I pass the mic to him, let me introduce him first. And Jatin Gupta, or as I said, Inspiring Jatin, is from India's capital, New Delhi. So for the people outside India, it's the northern side of the India. He's a certified life coach. He's the Amazon best-selling author, and he's the TVET trainer by Government of India, and he's also a keynote speaker. And Jatin's story is basically he'll share his range of emotions and how he managed to not get carried away in these tough times. Being in a difficult situation, he tried to stay sane, took charge of the problem, and unveiled how he wanted to turn around the issue and derived breakthroughs. And before I pass it on to Jatin, I would also love to welcome all my viewers to another Stories That Impact episode. We all know that this is a place where we get ordinary people share their extraordinary stories. And if we can get one person to be impacted with these stories, that's a real life motivational stories. My mission is done. So let's welcome Jatin. Hi, Jatin.
Hi, thank you, Amit, for such a great welcome and introduction. And thank you for such a noble cause of impacting lives through people's story. That's very impactful. And I really want to congratulate you on the success of your series. And I'm privileged to be part of this platform and to be able to share my story that can definitely inspire the world. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. So yeah, Jatin, now you can start with your and just for everyone to know that these it's a live session. So if you have comments or anything, feel free to drop in. And when Jatin is nearing his end of the story, we'll take it up. All right,
Sure,
go
thank
ahead.
you. Okay, so Samit and every one of us who are watching this, I'm sharing. I think it's the first time I'm sharing my personal story, only my personal story, and how I actually managed this during the lockdown. So I'll quickly talk about how I started this journey of becoming a coach. Somewhere, my marriage was a very imperative part of me beginning to start this journey. So I got married 5 years ago, and initially things are always hunky dory, and eventually issues cropped up between the partners. We had understanding issues, which is very common everywhere. And then those understanding issues really became high. And it reached a point, Amit, where I think we both started bringing worst out of each other. And I personally believe that if you're married to someone, if you're in a relationship, whether it's marriage or any close relationship of yours, you should always have people who bring the best out of you and not the worst out of you. And people who bring the worst out of you, they become very toxic for you, whatever relationship you call, right? And because I also realized at a point that I can't change the other person, I can only bring the change in me. I took the ownership and I started my self transformation, you know, by watching a lot of motivational videos, etc. But we all know, I know a lot of people may not relate to this, but I relate to it, that most of the motivational videos, inspirational videos, they work for some time when you are in that zone. And the moment you come out of that zone, your motivation is all fizzed out, right? So that is what happened with me as well. But I really wanted to do something with permanent transformation. I really wanted to change the way I was leading this relationship. So I enrolled into a self transformation program last year because something big has happened in our marriage, and I wanted to be very clear of what I wanted to do. So in that self transformation program, Amit, my perspective towards people, towards life, towards the relationships changed, and that is where the journey of the change began. Right? I was happy that I was moving on the path of self discovery, new version of Jatin, new version of marriage, new version of almost everything. And I was happy with the inputs I was giving. Of course, there were ups and downs. And while I was getting transformed, Amit, while I was part of that transformation program, I realized there is so much of pain around the world. Like there was one was my story. Vis-a-vis, there were 100 other 200 people who had deeper, bigger, sadder story than mine. I said, "Oh my God, there's so much of pain around. How about me being there and trying to help people, trying to create happy lives?" Because when I shared my story in that transformation program, Amit, people started calling me inspiring, that your story is very inspiring. And of course, I'm only talking about one story today, but I had shared plethora of stories in my self transformation program. And that is where universe started giving me this word called inspiring, the adjective to my name. It's you're very inspiring, Jatin. You're very inspiring, Jatin. And that is where I picked it from the audience, from my friends, from my colleagues, from people around me, that you are inspiring. And that is how I got this name. And just with this name, Amit, I got my passion. I discovered my passion of helping people. I thought if my story can inspire the world, why not inspire them? And that's where I decided to become a life coach. And and that was a journey when I was trying to solve the matter between me and my spouse. However, unfortunately, Amit, you reach a stage where I got clarity about my life. Now, how was I able to do all of these things? I was unhappy with my career. Everything was not going my way. The moment I joined self transformation journey, I started getting clarity, Amit. What do I want personally? What do I want professionally? What do I want to do in the next 1 year? Now, this separation was never anticipated. This is not what I really wanted. This is not why I had started my self discovery journey. During this journey, when I became a coach, everything was going on. I could see the changes in me, but I could not see the reciprocation. And I said, Jatin, when will this pattern end? You giving. It is a two-way relationship. It's a relationship of two people. Just you giving is not going to help this relationship for sure. And I mean, because of that, of course, because my relationship with my spouse wasn't great, uh, I was not able to even be a happy father. I'm a very passionate father. I love my son. He is my life. But unfortunately, my behavior, when I say my behavior, my entire mood, my entire mindset was into that depression and low state of being unhappy in my marriage. Then finally, in January, my wife and I got separated. When I say separated, we're living separately. We're not legally separated yet, but we're living separately. And I was thinking, just like every time she will come back, I'll be able to manage things, we will get back together. But probably even she got clarity that she did not want to stay in this marriage. During these times, Amit, from January, of course, lockdown happened in March. But while I was making an attempt to bring peace in this relationship, to connect back with them, to bring them back, the lockdown happened. And this is something which none of us were prepared for. So all transportations were shut. You could not travel anywhere. Only the phone calls were available, and I was unfortunately blocked on the phone calls. So I had no chance of solving anything. The other person did not want to solve anything. Phones were blocked, families' phones were blocked. So the only communication left during lockdown was also blocked. So how do you solve for it? Right? So one side I am craving to meet my son, right? I'm craving to hear his voice. I'm craving to know how is he. On the other side, lockdown pressure happened. Nobody knew what's going to happen tomorrow, right? So Amit, I had two choices with me. One, keep cribbing about the situation, sulk into it, go into depression, keep thinking, do overthinking, get anxious, get into depression. You might have to contact a psychiatrist, get onto the antidepressant tablets. Or I had an option to turn the situation around in a positive way, right? How did I get this clarity? I said, I asked myself, what is it you really want? So, Amit, one good thing happened in lockdown. I got clarity that I don't want to be in this marriage. That is first clarity I got, that I don't want her to be unhappy. I don't want to be unhappy. Plus, more importantly, Amit, I did not want my son to see the worst side of his parents. I wanted him to grow in an environment where he sees the best side of his parents. So I realized the only way for my son to see the best side of his parents is to stay in two different houses with two people differently. We can't be together to make him happy. And then, Amit, during this self discovery of clarity of what I want to do with this marriage, I always knew I wanted to be a good father. To be a father was my passion. Okay. Because I lost my father at a very early age when I was 16. I could not get that kind of love and affection, probably a lot of friends of mine or the other people could get. So I always missed that angle of a father in my life. And that is why I was very passionate. One of my motivation to get married was to get a kid, was to become a father, right? So somewhere I got stuck on that part too, because my wife took the illegal custody of my son. She doesn't have a legal custody of him, but she had the audacity to take him away from his father, not have any communication. I said, how do I turn my emotions into positive emotions? So, Amit, I went back to my journey of becoming a life coach. I had given a target to myself to become an author within a year from last year of July. And I had given a date of 10th of June 2020 to become a published author. And this 10th June 2020 was the day when my wife and I had gotten engaged. So that was the date I had chosen to have a new title in my life. Unfortunately, the book couldn't get published by then because of lockdown. A lot of publishing houses were not working. However, my book was over by then. So technically, I was officially an author by that time. So I wanted to do something very different. Amit, I wanted my son to be proud of his father when he gets to know what this lockdown was, what emotions his father had gone through, and how he decided to turn the situation around and not give up. And the moment courts opened, Amit, the first thing I did was applied for the child custody because I was stuck in the lockdown. The courts were also shut. So I had nothing that I could do. Honestly, I couldn't do anything. So I had to be strong. If I would have given up, I wouldn't have been able to face my son tomorrow that beta I couldn't do anything for you. I didn't even I was in depression. I was in anxiety. No, I'm a lion, and he's a son of a lion. Okay, I want to prepare him to be the father of the lion. You know, because of my parents, because of my upbringing, I am a very strong, and I'm strong, as strong as a mountain. Okay, and I want him to be the Mount Everest, and that's only possible when he sees his father as a role model, Amit. That my father never gave up in a tough situation like this. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have
Wow.
anything to say?
Amazing. Yeah, no, I just as a LinkedIn user has mentioned, no words to express. I mean, that is the state. Even I am. I mean, I can't just imagine things that I've gone through. Specifically, two areas. What I see is that, first you had the trouble, and the worst part is the lockdown just cancelled all the communication. And being a father myself, and I'm sure many folks who are listening, I can at least relate on that level of not seeing your son is like the, yeah, I don't know how to say that. It's the worst kind of a feeling that anybody can. And another person has said on LinkedIn, real hero. Truly, yeah, that's the reason he's inspiring Jatin.
Thank you. Thank
So
And Amit, I just want to, as you said, it is unimaginable to stay away from your kids. Okay, so if anybody wants to experience what hell is, this is that experience. To stay away from your kids is living in hell. Like you've lived in hell. There's nothing worse that can happen to you. If you're away from your son or your daughter, your kids, that's the worst emotion. I can say it because I have experienced it, right? However, it's been 9 months, Amit. I haven't even heard my son's voice yet. Okay. However, I'm still smiling. I'm still inspiring because my book, which has become Amazon's number one selling book within 24 hours of its launch, is dedicated to my son. Okay, when I was writing this book, Amit, there were a lot of emotional breakdown. I gave up in between. I said, yeah, what the hell am I doing? My son is not there. What is going to happen while writing this book? So the only motivation I had in completing my book was that one day my son is going to read this book. I am creating a legacy for my son. Tomorrow, when he grows and he understands what is a book, what is an author, what it takes to be an author, what it takes to go through what my father has gone through, he will he will proudly say, "I'm a father of inspiring Jatin." So this emotion, Amit. So my passion, my motivation was not money, was not fame. It is, and it will always be my son.
wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's 9 months now. I believe me, I can't even imagine that. Okay, I can't even imagine that because it's just really difficult. When you are out there on a job on a purpose, it's fine because you're gonna come back and you're gonna talk to your son. At least you can hear him, and with the new technology, you can see and stuff. But in a situation that you were in, and hats off to you, and I'm really happy and proud that you came to my show because this is a really truly others had inspiring story, but this touches heart in many ways, many ways, because it's your own flesh and blood, and 9 months is freakingly long time. Period.
Yeah,
Period.
abs-
There is no debate about it.
yes.
Could
And
you
Amit,
share?
yes, please go ahead. Yeah,
Sorry, no,
sorry.
I was just gonna ask you that could you share some moments, how did you managed it? I mean, what are the some of the things that you feel that can help people around? And I hope
Mm,
that it doesn't happen with anybody. But
absolutely,
there are
absolutely.
poor situations, bad situations for many. And now if you consider this as I consider this as the worst.
Yeah.
So any tip that you give would benefit me and million others.
Sure, sure. I mean, as I said, I never pray that nobody should go through this emotion. As I said, this is the worst that can happen to anyone, and I don't want anyone to have this side of the worst. But however, as life is unpredictable, and nobody promised that life will be hunky dory. So, as my book's title says, subtitle says, Amit, shit happens in life. Your happiness is your responsibility. Okay, this is the funda I followed during this breakdown. I will call this breakdown and lockdown. Okay, I had a major breakdown. This was a major breakdown, right? So, guys, how did I manage? First of all, I want to quickly talk about the emotions I had gone through. I'm sure every Indian knows about Ramayan, right? So, Ramayan restarted during lockdown. Guys, you won't believe there were days when I will watch like a 5 minute or a 10 minutes clip of a Ramayan where they were fighting, where a son and a father were fighting, the son unknowingly knowing that he is my father. When Love Kush entered the jungle and they happened to meet Lakshman and Ram and they were fighting, I cried like a kid. There were days when I've cried like a kid in my son's memory. And there were days when I was lying like a dead body for 2 to 3 days, only eating, sleeping, taking baths. That's it. The daily rituals are mandate rituals. So, guys, quick tips which are coming very naturally to me. What I did during this breakdown: one, you need to have clarity about whatever you want to achieve. So this was my clarity that I don't want to get into depression. I don't want to get into anxiety because if I give up, I won't be able to fight. So I always have the spirit to fight back the situation. Situation cannot be bigger than my passion, bigger than my mission, right? So one, gain clarity, introspect. For example, if you're stuck in relationship, you gain clarity. You're stuck in career, gain clarity as to, let's say, for next 3 months, achieve, set small goals. I had only set goals for the next 3 months. What is it that I wanted to achieve? I became a published author. Amit, I also want to mention I'm also listed as one of the best life coaches in India on Google. So Google and people have been really kind. So as Amit has rightly named this series Separation to Success. So I actually saw success during the separation, come lockdown, come breakdown. So only things that worked for me is one, clarity about what I wanted. Second, find a very strong why of why do you want to do that. I just shared why I did not want to give up. You also find out your strong why of doing that. Until your why is strong, you will give up. So find out a strong why. I just shared so many whys. Why I wanted to write a book, why I did not want to give up, why I did not want to get into depression because of my son. So my son's upbringing, being a role model to my son was my why. And this why supersedes any other why in my life. Similarly, you find that. And third, which really worked for me, Amit, I found a jackpot, when it's a jackpot mantra for myself. So I also was privileged to read Gita during this phase. Another, I am so blessed that God gave me the opportunity to actually having read even few chapters of Gita. Amit, the first chapter itself gave me so much of wisdom. And the Sar of Gita, one of my favorite and the closest jackpot Sar for me is what, as because you have English viewers, I'm going to talk in English and Hindi both for this one. Whatever happened, happened for good. Whatever is happening is also happening for good. And whatever will happen will also happen for good. And I want to also say this in Hindi. जो हुआ वो भी अच्छा हुआ, जो हो रहा है वो भी अच्छे के लिए हो रहा है, और जो होगा वो भी अच्छा ही होगा. With this faith in the universe, Amit, I am on with this battle of getting my son back and not giving up. 9 months, long time. I'm not going to give up. I'm not born to give up. I'm born, my soul is born with a purpose, of course, of becoming a passionate father, to raise a better human being, and also to inspire many, many lives.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. And yes, you should not give up. That's the, I think that's the message from the universe, from all the folks here listening. I'm sure everyone is inspired, and everyone would love to see the next inspiring Jatin with his son standing next to him. Is that that's the pillar? That's what he has been fighting for. So we're gonna do that, guys. So I'm inviting Inspiring Jatin for my next episode now, officially with his son, where he gets the things sorted out, especially now that the COVID is slowing down in a sense
Yeah,
that there's many things opening up, and I'm talking about India now, for the folks. And so whenever he gets him, we're gonna have a live session with both of the folks, and we're gonna have a little celebration as well. Wow.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Amit. It will be amazing, and I now that you've invited me for this, I would not, I can't say no, and I just want people to manifest that for me because that child is missing something really, really big in his life, and he doesn't deserve that. So
Yeah,
that's my fight. I request all of you to pray, to manifest that my son meets me as soon as possible and he comes back to me at the earliest.
sure, absolutely. I'm into that. Great, great. So it was a amazing session, and I have this. I want. It's a part of my show that I want one advice that you can give. You already given three advices, but what is the last thing that you would like to share with our users today?
I will just say one thing. You may call it a promotion, but I don't mind saying that. Please, please do buy my book on Amazon. Uh, One thing I can promise you out of this book is that even if you don't find your story, though I'm very sure most of you will find your story in it, even if you don't find your story, you will be able to relate to how your past has been impacting your present and how you are not able to go beyond your existing limit. So how your past has been limiting your beliefs. One, this is one promise to all the leaders. You will get clarity of how to get out of your breakdowns. And the advice that you asked for, Amit, I would say again, because this is one funda of my life, shit happens in life. Your happiness is your responsibility. That's the only advice I want to give to all the viewers.
Wonderful, wonderful. And to that, I would also like to conclude is that this show is about this. So stories that impact. There are people, we heard many, now it's inspiring Jatin. And things happen, like he said, shit happens. In this case, in his case, I can really say that shit has happened. And he has come out of it a long way now, and I'm sure he's going to do wonders and see his son very soon. So with that, thank you very much, Jatin. Sorry, inspiring Jatin, for inspiring us on my show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your invitation, Amit. It was a pleasure talking, and I'm looking forward to the next show with my son.
Absolutely, absolutely. Likewise, my friend. All right,
Absolutely.
so viewers, now, so this was the ninth episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. The eighth episode, we didn't had it due to technical reasons, but I'm gonna repeat that again. Uh, but I wanted to make sure that there's a continuity. So if you want to be a part of this show, to share your experience, to share your struggle and how you came out of it, please ping me, connect with me, and we can work it out. All right. It happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I go live, and let's talk it out. All right. Till then, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, late evening. And thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Inspired. Take care. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.